When my girlfriend suggested we move in together, it didn't feel like a big decision. We had been dating for almost a year, spent most nights at each other's places, and the idea of sharing rent in the city sounded practical more than romantic. Her apartment was already set up, so I packed my things into boxes and told myself this was what progress looked like. The first thing I noticed after moving in was how quiet the place was at night. Not peaceful quiet. Empty quiet. The kind that makes you aware of your own breathing. I assumed it was just a change from living with roommates, but even small noises felt wrong. The fridge hummed too loudly. The floors creaked as if someone was shifting their weight, not walking, just standing somewhere out of sight. She had rules I found odd but harmless. Shoes had to stay by the door, never inside the bedroom. The bathroom light was always left on overnight. The hallway closet stayed locked. When I asked why, she said it helped her sleep, and I didn't push. Living together, I thought, meant learning each other's habits, even the strange ones. About a month in, I started noticing things that didn't belong to me. A jacket hanging behind mine in the closet, heavier than it looked. A phone charger plugged in on her side of the bed that she said she didn't recognize. Once, I found 2 plates in the sink when I was sure I'd eaten alone. Each time I brought it up, she'd look genuinely confused, then uncomfortable, and change the subject. The first night I heard him, I didn't tell her. I woke up around 3 a.m. to the sound of the shower running. Not loudly, just enough to notice. I lay there listening, expecting her to come back to bed, but she was already next to me, breathing steadily. When the water shut off, I felt something pass down the hallway, slow and unhurried, like it knew exactly where everything was. The next morning, she asked if I'd slept well, watching my face too closely. I asked her about the shower. She hesitated, then said the pipes sometimes turned on by themselves. She said it like she'd practiced the line. After that, the apartment started behaving differently when I was alone. Cabinets I didn't open would be slightly ajar. The mirror in the bathroom would fog only on one side. I started feeling like I was being accommodated, not welcomed, as if the space was adjusting to me, learning how much room I needed. One evening, while she was at work, I unlocked the hallway closet. Inside were boxes labeled with dates, not names. Each one held someone else's things, clothes, photos, keys, all neatly folded, all smelling faintly of the same cologne. At the bottom was a lease agreement, signed multiple times, different names, same address. The last signature was dated just before she and I started dating. When I confronted her, she didn't deny anything. She sat across from me and explained it the way you explain something inevitable. She said some apartments didn't like being abandoned. They remembered. If someone left too suddenly, without being replaced, the space would start filling itself, noise, movement, reminders. She said the only way to keep things stable was to move forward carefully. One person out, one person in. I told her I was leaving. She nodded and said she understood, but asked me to stay until midnight. She said transitions worked better at the start of a new day. That night, the apartment was louder than it had ever been. Floors shifting. Walls clicking. The bathroom mirror stayed fogged no matter how long I wiped it. When midnight came, she kissed my cheek and thanked me for being patient. I tried the door. It opened easily. Too easily. As I stepped into the hallway, I realized the apartment behind me felt lighter, settled, like it had finished adjusting. From inside, I heard the shower turn on again, steady and familiar. She closed the door gently. And I understood, too late, that moving in had never been the commitment. Staying was. We moved in together as a trial. That's what we told our friends, our families, and ourselves. 6 months, shared rent, shared groceries, separate bank accounts. No pressure. No promises. The apartment complex was newly renovated, all gray walls and soft lighting, the kind of place that smelled faintly of fresh paint and Management loved couples like us. Stable. Predictable. Easy. The first sign that something was off wasn't scary. It was administrative. A welcome packet showed up under our door addressed to both of us, but with my last name printed twice, once correctly, once spelled the way people usually say it when they're guessing. I assumed it was a mistake and threw it away. 2 days later, another packet arrived, this time addressed to just me, listing amenities I hadn't signed up for. One line stood out, occupancy stabilization included. At night, the apartment felt crowded in a way I couldn't explain. Not noisy. Just full. I'd wake up feeling like I'd rolled toward the edge of the bed to make space, even though my partner was asleep on her side, unmoving. The air would feel warmer near the walls, cooler in the center of the room, as if something had learned where not to stand. My partner started forgetting small things about herself. Not important things, just details. She'd ask me how she liked her coffee. She couldn't remember when she'd stopped eating red meat. Once, she stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror for a long time and asked me if her smile looked forced. I told her everyone's does when they're tired. She nodded, relieved, like she'd been waiting for permission. Things escalated after the first argument. Nothing dramatic. Just stress, money, space. That night, I heard voices through the wall from the neighboring unit, low and intimate, like a couple talking things through. It was comforting, until I realized I recognized the cadence. They were using our voices. Not our words. Just the way we sounded when we were calm, when we were reasonable, when we were trying to fix things. I complained to management the next day. They checked the records and told me the unit next to ours had been empty for months. They asked if everything was okay at home. The way they emphasized home made my skin prickle. After that, the apartment started rehearsing us. Conversations we hadn't had yet echoed faintly through vents. Appliances turned on just long enough to interrupt silence. Our reflections lagged half a second behind our movements, as if waiting to see what choice we'd make before committing. The breaking point came when my partner told me she thought we should stay together because the apartment preferred us this way. She said it gently, apologetically, like she was repeating something she'd been taught. When I asked who told her that, she looked confused and said she couldn't remember saying it out loud. I packed a bag that night. Told her I needed space. She didn't argue. She just watched me, eyes unfocused, like she was listening to something else. When I opened the door, the hallway looked longer than it should have, the lights spaced too evenly, stretching forward in perfect repetition. From inside the apartment, I heard our voices again, calm and loving, practicing a version of us that never left. I stepped back inside. The door closed. Somewhere in the walls, something exhaled, satisfied. When my partner and I decided to live together, the leasing office made it feel ceremonial, like we were doing something adult and permanent. They congratulated us, printed fresh copies of the lease, and slid them across the desk with a smile that lingered a second too long. I remember noticing that the document listed only one tenant name under primary occupant, even though we were both there. When I pointed it out, the manager said it would update itself after the first billing cycle. She said it casually, like leases did that all the time. The first few weeks were easy. Comfortable. Too smooth. Arguments didn't last. Disagreements resolved themselves before either of us could finish a sentence. It felt like we were finally compatible in a way we hadn't been before. I assumed that's what moving in was supposed to do, remove friction. What I didn't notice at first was that I was always the one adjusting. Letting things go. Forgetting why I was upset. Sleeping through conversations I was sure we'd had. The apartment had an odd habit of resetting itself. If I left something out overnight, it would be back in its place by morning. Laundry folded I didn't remember folding. Emails drafted on my laptop that I hadn't written yet, apologizing for things I couldn't recall doing. When I asked my partner about it, she'd say she thought I'd done it, then look uneasy when I pressed further, like she was worried she'd said the wrong thing. One night, after a long day at work, I came home early and heard voices inside the apartment. Calm, intimate voices. Ours. I stood in the hallway listening to a conversation about compromise, about how relationships survive when one person learns to carry more weight. When I unlocked the door, the apartment was silent. My partner was on the couch, scrolling through her phone, surprised to see me. She asked why I looked shaken. I didn't answer. Things became clearer when the rent reminder came. It was addressed to me alone. My partner's name was gone entirely. When I showed it to her, she laughed and said billing mistakes happen, but there was a flicker of something behind her eyes, like relief mixed with fear. That night, she admitted she'd had a similar experience before, years ago, in a different apartment. She said the relationship had slowly disappeared, not with a breakup, but with one person becoming more present, while the other faded into routine. I asked her why she stayed. She said it was easier than starting over. She said the apartment helped. It smoothed things out. Chose for them when they couldn't agree. The realization hit me slowly, painfully. The apartment didn't want couples. It wanted balance. One voice. One will. Someone to anchor the space so it didn't feel abandoned. Every shared decision was being rewritten until only one of us remained necessary. I tried to leave the next morning. My keys worked. The door opened. The hallway looked normal, but as I stepped out, I felt an intense pull behind me, not physical, just certain, like walking away mid-sentence. Inside the apartment, my partner was crying quietly, apologizing, saying she hadn't known it would be me this time. When I came back in, the feeling stopped. That afternoon, a new lease confirmation arrived in my email. One occupant. My name. The apartment felt calmer immediately. Lighter. Like it had finally settled on the correct version of things. My partner packed her bags that evening. She said she felt strangely relieved, like she'd already grieved us months ago. When she left, the door closed gently behind her, and I felt the space around me tighten, warm, familiar. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. In the morning, the mirror reflected only me. And the apartment was quiet. Love these stories? YouTube algorithm suggests that you would like to listen to these stories. Click on the video on the screen.